Okay, it took the day too, but we get to see some Eagles footage on the field. Plus, some crazy things happen in 7-on-7 where some newly signed vets made their mark on the team. That's not all. James Bradberry, a no-show, Isaiah Rodgers starting, and both rookie corners look good. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Tall Podcast. If you're excited that the Eagles are back on the field, we got to see some footage and hear some big things. Hit that like button for your boy, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the videos. So let's start this off with the notable Eagle players not present at voluntary OTAs. Remember, these are voluntary, not mandatory, but James Bradberry, Devontae Smith, Lane Johnson, and Kelee Ringo all did not show up. Who did my eyes immediately go to? James Bradberry, who most Eagle fans don't even think he's going to make the roster, let alone start. After a horrific 2023 season, you would think he would want to be front and center, ready to prove that he can get back to 2022 James Bradberry, not 2023, but he didn't show up. Again, I want to be on record. Who knows why these guys couldn't show up? Could be family, personal, so it ain't the end-all be-all, but someone like James Bradberry should want to be on the field. As for Smitty and Lane Johnson, I'm chilling. Kelee Ringo's interesting too. Again, who knows why they miss, but he's only going to year 2. The cornerback position is stacked. You know the motto, the early bird gets the worm. Him trying to get a roster spot /PT, he should take advantage of OTAs. As for Sidney Brown, who's not practicing to start the Eagles OTAs, remember, he's recovering from an ACL surgery. He looked good running on the side of the field, though, so at least he's there, although he can't participate in 7-on-7s. That being said, Brandon Lee Gowton tweeted immediately, Saquon Barkley looks different in a good way than any other Eagles running back I've watched in a practice uniform. So as the offense comes out for 7-on-7s, Paris Campbell, first-team slot wide receiver for the Eagles. Joseph Ngata also running with the first-team wide receivers with no Devontae Smith. Of course, you know A.J. Brown's out there too, so A.J., Campbell, and Ngata to start 7-on-7s against that first-team defense, which you'll be surprised who it was. But before we talk about that, Jalen Hurts, sharp to start this practice, has completed every pass he's attempted at 7-on-7, most of them to A.J. Brown. However, Paris Campbell with a nice contested catch, been very impressed by him today. And by the end of the first team offense's time on the field, Brandon Lee Gowton and other beat writers simply said Jalen Hurts has targeted Paris Campbell a lot today. So the passing game went through Paris Campbell and A.J. Brown with no Devontae Smith. I didn't really hear Anaya Smith get the opportunity to play slot, and if he did, he really didn't make no plays according to some of these beat writers. Again, this is day 1 on the field for the Eagles, so we not acting like this is what's going to be automatic for September when week 1 comes, but it's interesting to see how the trend changes, or if it changes, through other OTAs. I will say Jalen Hurts did look more explosive in OTAs than he did all last year. Again, when we do run him, I'm looking to see 2022 explosiveness, not 2023. That being said, watching him throw the ball to Saquon Barkley, even though it's only OTAs, makes me really wish it was September. I really do think that defenses are going to have trouble with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, especially if Barkley's playing at the top of his game. Jalen Hurts, when he does keep it, is looking more explosive like we see in OTAs. And then the passing game on top of that, sheesh. Let me know what y'all think. Moving on to the defensive side of the ball, E.J. Smith tweeted, first secondary out during 7-on-7s. Darius Slay and Isaiah Rodgers at outside corner, Avonte Maddox in the slot, C.J. Garner-Johnson and Reed Blankenship at safety. Again, no James Bradberry and no Kelee Ringo, but it's interesting that Isaiah Rodgers gets the start over Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Again, it could be that the coaching staff wants to ease the rookies in. As for the only play really documented as it pertains to the first team, Devin White with good coverage and a PBU on Hurts' throw to Saquon Barkley, who ran a wheel route to the corner of the end zone. As much as I want to say again, we are counting on Devin White to be the leader at linebacker. Real quick, Bryce Huff at OTAs with the number 0, showing off that bend and ability to get around the corner. Moving on to when the rookies got on the field, Cooper DeJean, second team nickel corner, and Quinyon Mitchell on the outside for the second team. So that is where the rookies started on their first series of 7-on-7. Martin Frank said Quinyon Mitchell with the second team broke up a deep ball from Pickett to Jacob Harris, and of course DeJean is at nickel with the second unit. But a couple series later, Martin Frank quote tweeted his Cooper DeJean nickel tweet and said that he moved to outside corner in the next 7-on-7 series. Remember, Nick Sirianni and Vic Fangio talked about not moving Cooper DeJean around unless he can handle it. Obviously, it looks like he can handle it. I'm telling you, this guy's going to be a chess piece. Which way did he go? Which way did he go? You're never really going to know where this man lines up each and every Sunday. Continuing to talk about the second unit, Brandon Lee Gowton said Quinyon Mitchell with another PBU on Kenny Pickett. Throw intended for Johnny Wilson. So that's 2 PBUs for Quinyon Mitchell in a couple series of 7-on-7. Overall, the premise from the beat writers were that the young corners played really well. And since I haven't heard Cooper DeJean credited with any PBUs, maybe he was just locking his guy up so good they couldn't even throw his way. Again, this is with the second team, but it's good stuff to hear. But let's not stop there as it pertains to Cooper DeJean. When we talk about special teams in the first OTAs, Brandon Lee Gowton tweeted, Britton Covey and Cooper DeJean are fielding punts. He did mention that Anaya Smith is standing with them, but did not actually participate. That being said, Anaya Smith is a guy who is electric in the return game too, but already Cooper DeJean, first OTA, just making his mark inside, outside, and at the punt return. Covey is going to have an uphill battle because Anaya Smith can return punts, and he's also probably a better receiver. We're going to see. Britton Covey was the #1 punt returner per yards in 2023. Didn't take anything to the house, but had a couple huge returns that set up the offense pretty good, and never really had a bad return. Although every time he gets hit, bang, it looks like he's not going to get back up. No fumbles. That's key too. One more interesting thing before practice was over, Avonte Maddox taking some third-team safety reps in addition to being the first-team nickel corner. We all know that when he's healthy, he's been a productive Eagle. He just got to stay healthy. But again, if his role is this, that, and the third, and he's not being counted on, I ain't mad at him being here. So the overall takeaway from a beat writer who was front and center, Chris Franklin, is that there were a lot of motion to give quarterbacks some intel. Liked what he saw out of Paris Campbell. He and Isaiah Rodgers had some good battles on the outside. He also said A.J. Brown was used all over the field, and that goes back to the motion. And remember, Smitty wasn't there, but I think this offense is about to be super creative and super productive. Oh, and like I said earlier, Brandon Lee Gowton, Martin Frank, they all talked about how good the rookie corners looked. So I actually like what I heard from day 2 of OTAs. Who knows if there were some different things that happened in day 1? There was no one there to report it. And if you're worried that Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean is going to sit the bench because on day 2 of OTAs they were with the second unit, you're crazy. The coaching staff is just starting them out slow. But I like what I heard from the rookie DBs. I like what I heard in general. This is the appetizer to training camp and joint practice and preseason where things really start to get put together. But like I said, take little notes here, little notes there, and compare them to other OTAs to the start of training camp so then you can start to see what is really happening. Lastly, some players met with the media to talk about OTA day 1, OTA day 2, and any questions they had. Saquon Barkley was asked, what do you like about the first 2 days of OTAs? And he said, you get in a huddle day 1, and it's A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Hurts. Not a bad group. You gotta love it. Tyler Steen was straight up asked, is the right guard position your job to lose? And Tyler Steen turned around the question of whether the right guard position was his job to lose. He simply said it's his job to earn. You gotta love and respect that mindset. Jalen Carter spoke as well. He was asked about Vic Fangio, and he simply said, I love Vic. I'm all about old school football, hard work. I'm ready to be coached. He continued to say he's been working on his conditioning. Jalen also says Jordan Davis has been doing extra work and his conditioning is good, which I absolutely love to hear. Carter also has been working out in Miami and talked to some players on the Dolphins. He said they said great things about their experience with Fangio. But we just heard Javon Holland, the safety for the Dolphins, disrespect Fangio. I can say this. Pat McAfee had some beat writer for Miami on his show when the Eagles first got Fangio. Remember that? And according to him, the secondary hated Fangio, but the defensive line and linebackers loved him. So it could be true. All in all, I want a guy who's going to coach this group tough because there's so much potential. With all that being said, I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. Leave all your thoughts in the comment section. I love hearing from you. Any hot takes, because there's going to be more OTAs in training camp. Also, hit the like, subscribe if you are new, turn on the notification bell, and if you got nothing else to say, drop the muscle emoji. We out.